All right, all right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode number 75 of Monday Halls Live. Man, wow, 75 episodes. That's a year and a half's worth of Hall videos. Man, this is awesome. So I'm excited because we are back tonight. We're going to be sharing some cool books with you, really all over the age spectrum. I have my own entry into MT's Hall of Shipping Shame, but it's not going to be shaming the seller. It's actually going to be congratulating him and recommending him because of his immaculate shipping. All the books were in excellent shape when I got them. Surprisingly, when you see the box, I think you'll understand. When you see the box, like the outer box and what happened, I think you're going to be shocked that none of the books were damaged or hurt. But hey, this is Monday Halls Live, and I am Carlos Collects Comics, and we are tonight celebrating 75 episodes worth of the show. And then we're also going to be, you're just going to be looking at a bunch of different stuff. It's going to be me and MT hanging out. Michael Presas, our newest panelist, was not able to be here tonight. Just a couple of quick reminders for you. Like I said, this is Carlos Collects Comics. This is my channel. I'm all about helping my fellow fans learn about this hobby that we all love. And that's what I love to do. That's what gets me up and going for these shows. So this is the Monday night show that we have, but we also have a live stream that happens on Wednesdays, and that is called The Giveaway Show. The Giveaway Show is exactly that. It's promoting generosity by doing a comic book giveaway each Wednesday night. And then I'll have my usual peanut gallery along with me. This week I'll be joined by Mr. Collector, the one with the perfect hair, and then Mr. Paul Comics, the one with the gray hair. And then we also are going to be adding a special guest panelist. We'll see who else is available to join us. If you're new to the channel, the third video I want to make sure and point out is our Friday features. Yes, it does have alliteration, but no, it's not too cheesy for you to check these videos out because there's some really great information in a lot of these videos, specifically looking at the top 10 lists that we put out. I recently, a couple weeks ago, put out the top 10 Punisher comics to add to your collection. And then following on those was the top 10 Booster Gold comics to add to your collection. And so when I choose books, I choose them from all different budget levels, all different time frames, because I want you to have a really good spread of books to choose from and to take a look at for adding to your collection. I also want to make sure and let you know, so we're going to have this Friday, we're going to have the top 10 Daredevil comics that you should consider adding to your collection. I'm going to be making some recommendations, some of my personal picks for that particular character. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then coming at the end of February, on the 24th, I'm very excited to announce. We announced it this past Friday, but I'm going to announce it again here. On Friday, I'm going to be doing an interview with David Pepose. David is the current writer for Marvel's Savage Avengers. He also has written the OZ, Going to the Chapel, Spencer and Locke, and my personal favorite, Scout's Honor. Scout's Honor was actually what made me reach out to David. I was a big fan of that series when it came out. And lo and behold, David responded right away, and we were able to, within a day, lock down his appearance. So on that Friday, February the 24th, we'll be going live at 11 a.m. during the day for that Friday feature. And yeah, this is a new monthly series that I'm doing called Creator Interview. And it's where I'm going to be sitting down very podcast style for a 90-minute interview with a variety of different creators. Last month, we had Geoffrey Cotton come on. He's an independent comic book creator. He shared about his current successfully funded horror comic called Roseville. You can go back and check that out under the Creator Interview playlist. But next up is David, and David's going to be joining us, like I said, on Friday, February the 24th at 11 a.m. We'll be streaming that live, and there will be a segment, the last third of that show is going to be nothing but the creator answering your questions that you drop in the chat. So make sure that you join us for that. Like I said, but we are here for Monday Halls Live. I'm here with the faithful Professor MT. He's got that encyclopedic knowledge of comic book. He's going to drop some facts on you. He's going to drop some good information and some recommendations and some of the cool books that he's been picking up. Right now, hey, I just want to do some shout outs to the chat. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Halls Live. We're glad that you're here with us and hanging out. Let's go to the chat and let's see who we got hanging out here in the chat with us, because it's quite a few messages that have been dropped. There he is. First like and comment again. Hooray. Way to go. There is L Green Machine dropping in saying good evening, gentlemen and chaters. All right, Amazing Spider Flint, good to see you as well, sir. Jonathan Dotson, good to see you as well. Hey, look, it's Emily Day. She's back with us right now. Emily, I'm glad that you were able to stay up. I know this is late for you. Brooklyn Born, happy holiday. Yes, same. Mary Jimenez, there you are. Yes, doing quite well. Michael had some stuff come up. He wasn't able to join us, so he's going to be joining us a little bit later on. Let's see. There's he's going to be joining us. Hopefully he'll do his unboxing, his slab unboxing next week. Let's see. Spider Girl 69. No, I don't think. I don't see a deleted comment, but yeah. Let's see who else we got here. I posted a comment earlier and it got deleted. No, I didn't see a comment from you before that one. For Pete Saki, what's up? Yes, Mary Jimenez, my cough is gone. I am good to go. Michael's Comics, what's up? Yep, we're a couple minutes late because MT and I were chatting in the green room behind backstage. Mike Bravo, what's up? Good to see you as well, sir. Glad that you're here. Good to see you. Tony Stank, what's up? Good to see you as well. Glad that all of you are able to join us tonight. We're going to go ahead and get it kicked off, but I want to let MT share just a hello and let everybody know how he's doing. So everybody, here is the man with the massive brain case, Mr. MT.
Oh, better unmute myself. Hey guys, good to see everybody. I see one or two new names. BKLY Born 78. I don't think I've seen you before. Thanks for being with us. Miss Mary's here. Miss Mary, good to see you. Spider Girl's here. My buddy 4Pete is here. Michael 54, good to see you. Mike Bravo 2 and Tony Stank. Amazing Spider Flint is here. I've got some books to show you. Amazing Spider Flint. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully we got some interesting things to show you tonight. I've got some books I bet you not many of you have seen before, but they tend to be a little valuable, but they are a niche collector market. But some interesting stuff for sure I'll have for you tonight. So looking forward to a great show.
Awesome. I am excited. All right. Hey, folks. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So like I've shared before, Monday Halls is the weekly web series that we do where we show off our past week to week and a half's worth of comic book pop culture pickups. So I've been all over the map this past week. Keep in mind, not all these books that I show, I just want to make sure and say this because I don't want people to think like I'm some kind of big baller that orders tons and tons of comic books every week. That's MT. My books.
Don't throw me under the bus here.
my books. So the books will come in. What I'll do is I'll when different people do Instagram claim sales. This is a good budgeting tactic for you. You know, if you're on a budget, and we've got a budget. I've definitely got a budget to work within. I'll go to different Instagram claim sales. I'll claim a couple of books per week or per claim sale that goes up, and I'll ask that seller before I claim them. I'll ask that seller, hey, can you build a box? Because that's the best way to make the most out of those shipping dollars. Because I always want my sellers to ship stuff to me priority. So I said, what's up, Indy Key? Good to see you as well. So I make sure and let them build a box for me. And so sometimes the stacks that you'll see, that is actually accumulated over multiple weeks, a few dollars each week. will build up a nice little stack, and then it all gets shipped out when their box is full, and they kind of manage that process. So that's just a quick FYI for you, so you don't think that I'm dropping a whole bunch on comic books each week as it goes by. It's very much a kind of building, rolling process that happens. So I'm going to show the big stack with and I teased this on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw a picture of a completely mutilated priority box. And so the deal is with that, I'm going to show that box and walk y'all through what happened, and then show you the stack of comic books that was shipped within that box. But I'm going to do that in the next round. First, I'm going to go through a few books that I found in town, and then from a few different sellers online. So here, let's do this. Okay. So first seller that I'm going to show off right now. This is from Johnny Boy on Instagram. Picked up a couple of books in his latest claim sale, and they are the type of books that gets MT and Edwin Jackal, or Edwin Price. Sorry, yeah, Mr. Jackal, Edwin Price, and Michael Press and Press Niche Worldwide, gets them all excited and hot and bothered. All right, so this is DC Comics Presents number 20. I'm definitely putting this at about a 6 to 6.5 before clean and press. It will benefit greatly from a press, but here's why I picked it up, because these guys turned me into a Mark Jewelers maniac. So this one is one of the light blue and purple Mark Jewelers, and the insert itself is in pretty good shape. It's just the book needs a press. So this is DC Comics Presents number 20, featuring a Mark Jewelers insert.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then I've got I've got another one. Okay, so this is another one. You'll be seeing this book in my top 10 Firestorm comic books video that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks, or I think, in 2 weeks. This is Justice League of America number 179. And this is when Firestorm joins the Justice League of America. And you can see him here with Superman. Superman's basically saying, Firestorm is joining, get over it. This is what's happening. He just tells the rest of the league, this is how it's going to be. The other cool thing about this, though, is that not only is it a minor key book with his first, with him joining the Justice League of America, but this one also is a Mark Jeweler. So,
black one. I like the black ones. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, this one is a black one all the way through, but it does have. It's got this one. I think got a little bit of humidity or something to it. So it's not. Neither of these was in like super great shape or super nice shape, but I did go ahead and pick them up because I've been looking for this Firestorm book, and then also the other one was just a decent price for a Mark Jeweler. So so this is these. There's these two. Then let's see. Okay, yeah. So I took my son over to Half Price Books earlier tonight, and he was looking for. I was getting him a journal, but I happened to flip through the comic book section and found a little something here. This is the second print of Villains United #1. This is a sketch cover though, so this is how you can tell it's different. I did not have this in my run, so and Villains United, one of my favorite books of all time, and I think one of the best Secret Six books ever done. So this one, this was a really cool one. Decided to add that to the collection. Then a local seller here in town, the rest of these books. I'll go ahead and do one more. This one got shipped to me. So this is from AM Comic Sales on Instagram. This is a Firestorm the Nuclear Man #1. I'm putting this at about a 6.5 plus or minus. Definitely needs a clean and press. Price was a little bit more, than I would have paid for this grade, but I wanted to go ahead and add a couple more copies of Firestorm #1. I did see another YouTube channel that focuses on comic book investments. I think that's the name of the channel. And he was talking about the gains that Firestorm #1 had made. And I loved, I just love Firestorm. So I said, you know what, I'm going to grab a couple more copies. And I picked this one. So these are some, now these next few are some books from a local seller in town. What did I do with my... What did I do? There it is. Okay. All right. So these are a few books I found from a local seller. I was digging through his back issues. So this is Justice League of America #125, featuring Two-Face. And, you know, it's very low priced, and it's right in my wheelhouse for books that I like for that time period. And then DC Comics presents #55, featuring Airwave versus the Parasite. And so I went ahead and got that, you know, because you can't beat some DC Copper Age goodness for $1. Lastly, these are not books I expected to find looking here, but I'm a Zorro fan, #1, and #2, I'm a Jim Lee fan. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and share you. I see you guys going on about the new background. Yep, we got a little bit of an upgrade here. Decided to add, you know, a little bit more to the overall image. All right, so this is Zorro #2 from the Topps Comics version, and this one is double signed by Don McGregor and Jay Lee, who was the cover artist. And that is Jay Lee, definitely Jay Lee's signature, and Don McGregor's as well. Don McGregor's worked on a lot of the recent Zorro books, and then it's also signed by as well Mike Mayhew. And it's also signed by Mike Mayhew. I'm not sure where. I think it's inside. So there's those two. It's the Indie Key. It's the rarity. People recently have gotten all, you know, up and, you know, gotten excited about the rarity of the Mark Jewelers books. But it's, you know, if I can get them for the same price as a regular, I'm absolutely going to take that Mark Jewelers in a heartbeat. Okay, here's the next one. This is #6 from the Zorro series. This was also signed by Don McGregor. And the seller cut me a great deal, so I'm going to do him a shout out here. Texas Time Warp Collectibles, good buddy Kevin McLaughlin gave me a good deal on these. And then here's Zorro #9, also signed by McGregor. So very cool Zorro books for my personal collection. Last one, this also came from Kevin. So I did a top 10 Silver Surfer books to add to your collection video a few months back. One of the books that I found while researching that video was a Silver Surfer ash can that featured Jim Lee art. And I don't come across Jim Lee doing the Silver Surfer very often. But this was early on in his career, so I was just really taken with this. It is a wraparound cover, but I was able to pick this up, the Silver Surfer ash can. You can see the bag and board is a current size comic, so you can see it's roughly the size of this book. But yeah, this was a really cool one, really cool cover art that I wanted to pick up. I had an eye out for one, but they were always very cost prohibitive. But he, like I said, he cut me a very good deal. This one I'm putting it at about a 9.0 plus or minus, and it does need a press. So excited to add this. And my son's a Silver Surfer fan, so it was nice to have that one here as well, or to add that one. So hey, make sure drop some. Let's see what some people are saying here in the comments. I knew a guy in the hood named Dave, but they called him Tony. He got shot up a bunch of times He had one toe and one knee, so they called him Tony.
Yucky,
Wow.
yucky.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's good. Indie King.
Waka waka waka.
Yeah. I like the dad jokes are strong with you tonight, sir. All right, that firestorm fire. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it along to MT and let him show off what he's got for this round. MT?
I'll just run through these really quick because I've been talking to Spellreport about these. I was digging through trying to find. I know I've got some more of these. This is that first Deadpool in Ultimate Spider-Man, and then that's the first cover appearance. Ultimate Deadpool, Wade Wilson, and I believe this is first Morbius. And first cover, this is first Jessica Drew, the Ultimate Mrs. Spider-Woman. There you go, Spider-Girl. It's a cool one for you. And then this is a crossover, I think. It almost looks like the Defenders. And then you got Ronin, X-Men crossover with Ultimate Spidey and the first Omega Red. Cool run. Ultimate Spider-Man was huge when I first started really getting into collecting comics in my 20s when I was like buying lots of comics. I remember Ultimate Spider-Man taking off and never really been a big Spider-Man fan, so I never really bought much Spider-Man, but I did like the Ultimate Universe quite a bit. Ultimate X-Men really took it in a new, more serious type direction. I like the art a little bit better. But at any rate, I'm going to find the rest of those one of these days. So one of the things I've been chasing here recently, because of the Pop Culture Power Show, a lot of our talent at the show is related to Transformers, the animated show, and the comic books. So I've been trying to find big collections or lots of Transformer books that I can buy. So this is one I just got in today. And this is, it originally started, it was only going to be a 4-issue miniseries, right? So it says 3 of 4 issues there. It's Black Suit Spidey and All Hail Megatron. And Megatron was such a controversial. I remember I was not allowed to have Megatron because it was in the news because Megatron was actually like a handgun, which was a no-no in a lot of parents' groups. So that was one I never actually owned. I was allowed to own, I guess, which is odd because we had a lot of guns in my family. So not any handguns, though. We never had any handguns. But at any rate, then there's issue number 4 here, which would have been the finale in the 4-issue mini. It says the Autobots' last stand, right? Because they were going to wrap up this 4-part story. But they sold so many books, they decided to carry on. And that's where you get this iconic painted cover, one of my all-time favorites. The Transformers are all dead because it was their last stand in this issue. Shockwave, probably one of the greatest covers to come out of the 1980s, in my opinion. Fantastic painted cover. So then we get launched into the regular series. There's 6. There is 7. Free while you can, Buster. Megatron is the mightiest of Decepticons. I may not survive. Too true, my friend. Too true. And you know him, you love him, you cannot live without him. Ba Weep, Rana Weep, Mini Bong. A little Dinobot action, right? And I don't know if you were, I think we're about the same age, right, Carlos? You were around where you were buying Dinobots. Did you ever own a Dinobot toy?
I'm trying to remember if I ever had any of them. I had some of the other I remember I had Mirage from the G1 first. I think he was the first or second wave. He was the Formula One racer.
You would know if you had a Dinobot because these things fell apart immediately. They were so poorly constructed. They all broke like immediately. They were terrible, terribly constructed toys. They were rushed to market, and the dies on them were terrible. They all broke. I only ever had Swoop in the beginning for years, and then later on I bought some other ones at a yard sale, but they were all broken when I bought them. And You got Tron Girl here. Always a great cover. Starscream, Circuit Breaker. I mean, it's a direct rip off of Tron that was popular during this time period. Jetfire, which was a big jet that was a big toy to be sold. So Jetfire soars supreme. You got yourself More Than Meets the Eye here. This is Prime turning on his own, shooting Autobots. You got to pick up that issue to see what happens. Panic at the Disco here. The Man Behind the Machine. Got two of those. This was always a cool one with the battle axe. Between Two Worlds. It's actually a decent read, that one. I was just thinking really need to reread some of these because it's been a long time since I read these. Omega Supreme was like the tippy top of the G1 toys originally. It was the biggest, the baddest one. It had like a little train track with a space shuttle. It was humongous.
I'm trying to remember him. I'm trying so hard to remember him. What?
He had a train track around when he was transformed. He had a little train, and then he had like a rocket ship that would launch. So you can see that those are the tracks for the train coming off his back there. And he was actually in the TV show, and I'm trying to remember if he was in the movie too. He might have been in the movie. I know he was in the TV show for sure. But he was like the first really big toy beyond that was like came as one robot. Like you had the Constructicons that would, join one big massive robot type of situation. Mm-hmm. It was actually just one robot to begin with. I can remember the first time I saw that in person. It was pretty impressive. And then here we go, the used Autobots at the used car sales lot there with old used car salesman guy there. Looking kind of like creepy, pervy 1950s guy there. Used Autobots for sale. And then the final issue here is a Great Britain issue. And this is one I absolutely do not remember, but you've got some King Arthur stuff going on here with the Knights of the Round Table.
I do not remember that at all.
I don't remember that one either. I'm going to have to reread that one. Here's another cold open that I just got and haven't opened up today. I only got like 3 packages in the mail today. Oh, that's right. I forgot I have a whole other box to open. Ooh, yeah. This is a pre-order. It is a Carlos rule book, but a tame one. Wanda, Pharaoh's Lounge. This is certainly the tame version of this cover. There is a more risque version, but I've always liked Wanda since the House of M. I mean, Wanda really changed her power level and became a much bigger player in the Marvel Universe at the House of M. And it was such a fantastic story that I've always loved Wanda ever since House of M. So, great Wanda one. Glad to have that. I don't know why I only bought one of them, probably because they're hard to get a hold of. In fact, I'll put that in my whole box for now. What else do I have? Okay, we'll get into this, and then I'll open my other box in the next segment here. Okay, I bought a collection of these. I do this from time to time. I have some of these. Some of these I actually got from my aunt. But these are really cool old comics. Some of them are very valuable. But it kind of takes a niche collector sometimes because they're getting kind of in the older niche market thing, and that's Classics Illustrated.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of them had covers that were taken from famous literature or movies, but most of the time it was famous literature. So I don't know what the Oxbow incident was, nothing I remember. Wild Animals I have known by Everett Thompson. So it was basically like the Cliff Notes to be able to do a book report for kids in the 60s. You know what I mean? If you wanted Cliff Notes to be able to write a book report on the classic novel you had to write, then you got a Classic Illustrated comic and it would give you the synopsis, right? This is a book. I wish it was in a little bit better shape, but I love the content. The Conquest of Mexico. Those who watch the channel regularly know that I buy anything with Mesoamerican content on it, especially the older it is, the better it is. You got the pyramids there. You got the plumed serpent. I haven't read this one yet, but it's the Spanish Conquest. They've got a lot of cool artwork in this. Oh boy, this smells like an old comic book too. Super cool book. Super cool book to have. Any of this stuff, I'm always snapping these up when I see it. And actually, it was this book that prompted me to buy this entire set.
Wow.
It was this book right here. And unfortunately, it is a little rough, and the cover is detached, but cool reader book. Now, these, from my research, these are actually some valuable comics. The Caesar, the ones with Julius Caesar on it, and these are actually in really, really good shape. Caesar's Conquest by Julius Caesar himself. So this is like his own memoirs that he wrote about his own conquest. There's another Julius Caesar one in here too. That's actually the bigger of the two books. So, you know, your average comic fan isn't clamoring for Julius Caesar comics from Classics Illustrated, but there is a collector market out there for these. They are really cool books to have. Unfortunately, the paper quality on these is not great. But I'm going to try and pick up the pace here a little bit. So, Man Without a Country, this was written by Edward Everett Hale. So, great high seas, probably American Revolution era, I would guess. The piracy era, Treasure Island. Everybody remembers Treasure Island, right?
Oh, yeah.
Louis Stevenson. This was a seminal movie, All Quiet on the Western Front. This was about the disillusionment of Germany after World War II and why it was so pointless for these soldiers to fight. It changed a lot of attitudes in post-World War Germany. It was shown all over the place. It was a very seminal film that still talk about it today. And this was actually in really good shape. But kind of showed the horrors of World War II. Old Cyrano's de Bergerac. I always think of that. What was the firefighter one with Roxanne, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin.
Yeah, that was
telling of this, right?
Yeah, yep.
We talked about this here the other week. I was on The Journey to the Center of the Earth. This is where they made the movie based upon E. Howard's stuff. This gets into Dell. This has got some cool interior artwork in here. But Dell did a lot of movie comics. And Pat Boone was in this. You got a nice pinup of Pat Boone on the back, right? Here we got The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Nice.
The Red Badge of Courage, another very classic book about the Civil War. This one is really cool. I figure this is right up Mr. Jackal's alley. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
I bet that one's probably a valuable one.
Yeah, this one is up there as well. 20,000 Leagues.
Oh yeah, wow.
Classic Jules Verne.
Wow.
So are these because they have early Black Knight appearances. In fact, the most valuable Black Knight appearances in the Classics Illustrated.
Really?
From what I understand. Yeah.
Wow.
The Story of Ruth. This is another movie cover.
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
A big budget production here.
So I have that one.
It's
I don't
another
have
Dell.
many. I don't have many, but the ones, and this is what was interesting was about these. This line was that they would do Bible stories and Bible epics.
Oh yeah.
And so you know there wasn't that aversion to it that there is now.
Well, this is a movie.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they would, you know, it was cool. So I've picked up several of those. I might need to. I don't know. I'm going to show them. Hey, MT, I'm going to step away for just a minute, okay, to grab that packaging.
That's fine. Go ahead. So then you get into anything with the Walt Disney. The Dell Walt Disneys are all very desirable. This is Robert Louis Stevenson Kidnapped Dell book there. This is an awesome one. I love this one. The Lost World. Super cool imagery on this book. Dinosaurs, squiddy monsters, all kinds of cool stuff. This is a really cool book. I have a lot of these. Hercules Unchained was a big movie. I've got tons of those comics for whatever reason. Now, this is one I really like. Disney used to do a lot of space stuff, a lot of space comic books, and like they're really heavy into the science. Like they go through and have like little science lessons in here. The interior artwork, they did a really good job on. The inks are very strong. They pop, right? And like the inside covers always had like these little science experiments or photos of rockets taken off and UFO, Sputnik, everything in there. Really cool book. This is the more valuable Julius Caesar Classics Illustrated. If you come across this in a yard sale, this is the one you want to look for. It's one of the more valuable because it's a William Shakespeare Julius Caesar et tu Brutus. For you Shakespeare lovers, that's the one you want to get. This is one I've never seen before. I don't know much about it. It's not in great shape, but it's a really awesome Viking book. Another classic illustrated about the Civil War. This was really cool. The Earth to the Moon. I love old space comics. Old space comics are some of the coolest stuff ever, in my opinion. This is another Jules Verne, of course, from the Earth to the Moon. When they thought that you could be shot out of a giant howitzer cannon to get to the moon. John Paul Jones, I Have Not Yet Begun to Fight, another Dell movie book. This is one I've had a couple copies of, the Joan of Arc. This one's actually in really good shape. Rip Van Winkle, Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court. This one's in really high grade compared to the rest of them. Cool book. More Hercules, Around the World in 80 Days, the Iliad, and then I'm going to save the best for last. Another 80 Around the World in 80 Days. Tell my throat's starting to get a little clamped because of this old paper here. I love this cover. Around War of the Worlds. I've always loved War of the Worlds comics. This is one of the earlier ones. H.G. Wells. I always love to see how they depict the aliens in their artwork. This is one of the more desirable Classics Illustrated. This is the War of the Worlds. And pretty cool to add these to the collection here. I'll probably let some of them go if somebody wants them, but they're more there's a few nice ones in there, but most of them are mid to low grade, so they're kind of readers just to have them in my collection. Let me look at some of the comments I've been neglecting here. Oh my goodness, I've been neglecting a lot of comments here. Hey Louis V, thanks for being with us. What's a good price to pay for those books if we find them empty? I don't know what empty means. I mean, those Julius Caesar books, I think, are in the hundreds of dollars if they're in good shape. I'll look them up here for you. Oops. I was going to pull this up beforehand.
AMT, I'll show something real quick while you're looking it up. This is not planned. And this is
very cool Classics Wanda. Now we're talking nice. Okay, loved how OS talked. Optimus. Omega Supreme. I'm with you. Mary says, yeah, she had her husband had the Dinobot toy. It probably fell to pieces, like they all did, right? Oh, Mary says he's got a Shockwave tattoo. That's fantastic. I have a stack of Ultimate Spidey starting with issue 1 that I'm not ready to part with. I would not blame you. How cold is it? It is, Mary. It's actually a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, but we still have snow on the ground. It's not as windy. It was windy yesterday, which makes it super cold. So, Tricky Trapster, thanks for being with us. Indie Key Comics. That's some Firestorm Fire. You got it.
That was from earlier from my round.
Okay, well, I think I'm caught up on some of the comments here. Go ahead and show what you got.
Yeah, let me show. So I when I went to go get that packaging, I pulled these. So these are just inspired by. These are some of mine. My older 12 and 10 centers. This does not include the Zorro run that I have. I do have all the Golden Age Zorro appearances in Dell 4-color limiteds. So this is from Gold Key. This is Fantastic Voyage, like MT said. These science fiction.
I have that
adaptation.
Yep.
Yeah, so much fun. This one right here.
It's another movie cover for sure.
Yeah. It was from the Fantastic Voyage movie, and you can see some of the different shots from the movie there.
Yep, I've got that same. I got that comic from my dad, actually.
Yeah, So I picked this one up at the same time that I picked up it was like a 4-book lot. Two of them were for me, one each for my mom to represent mom and dad. But another one that went with the same lot was the Outer Limits. This was a Dell. This was from the Dell 4-color limited line. I don't know if it was series 1 or 2. This is the Outer Limits.
Yep, I've got those.
A lot of fun.
Later in the run.
Yeah. And then, so this one represents my mom because she was a huge fan of Lassie from the old series, and so Dell. Now this was a little bit later than this would have been the late Silver Age to early Bronze Age. Here's an older Lassie, and these are kind of beat up, just PC books, fun books to have.
Hey, Manny the Hobgoblin Collector, thanks for being with us.
Let's see, and then Beetle Bailey. This one represents my dad. He loved Beetle Bailey, so I grabbed one of these. Again,
there you go. Little Raquel Welch. She was the star in that Fantastic Voyage.
Then here's the previously aforementioned story of.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, yours actually looks in better shape than mine.
Yeah, this one was in surprisingly good shape, and it was. Yeah, it was very inexpensive, so I went ahead and picked it up and kept it. I also do have a couple of Classics Illustrateds here. I heard you mentioning this one. This is it's another 15 center. It's Around the World in 80 Days.
Yep, I just showed that one. Yep.
Do
you know why Classics, the ones that the more valuable Classics Illustrated are the ones that were used in the Seduction of the Innocent trial, because they had very gratuitous violence depicted in these Classics Illustrated, which you wouldn't think of. Being based upon classic literature, but they were some of the more graphic comics.
Yeah, for sure. So then, like I said, I do collect Christian comics, or comics that have like a Judeo-Christian storyline or emphasis. So this was a special issue of Classics Illustrated, the 10 Commandments.
Oh yeah.
This was one I came across. I think I came across this one in a back issue bin. It might have even been at an antique store, but I didn't buy that one alone. I also bought another special issue.
Does that predate the Charlton Heston, or do you think that's from the Charlton?
I'm not sure. So this one is a super thick one, and it did have a 35-cent price tag on it. I'm wondering if it was right around the time, because and it was, and the idea of the Charlton Heston Moses was just kind of sublimated in the artwork.
Right.
It's definitely not him. And they're
not like you would have been 1956 was the Charlton Heston 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
And my God, was that such a big event? They used to show that on broadcast TV every Easter. It was a big event that you would watch 10 Commandments.
I'll pop it open for a second and see. I have one more Christian comic to show. Okay, so let's see the Ten Commandments. Oh wow. Yeah, this is old. It's actually in surprisingly good shape. So yeah, so the date on this one is December of 1956.
So that would have been right about the time, because 1956 is when Ten Commandments came out.
Yeah.
So they're probably, if nothing else, they're playing up on the hype of that movie being released.
Right.
If nothing else.
Which is interesting, even then, tying comics into blockbusters. So okay, so this was a special Ten Commandments Classics Illustrated special issue, 35 center for its time, very thick book. And then I also at the same time picked up this Classics Illustrated special issue, also 35 cents, The Story of Jesus.
Classics Illustrated, cool.
Yep. Yeah, it matches the same logo, so it was probably around the same time.
Those should be the later issues, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking mid to late 50s with some of that stuff.
Right.
This Classics Illustrated, I believe, ran through almost to 1960, maybe. Most of them are all 50s books.
Yeah, and when they did the reprints, remember, in the 70s. And so if you're out in the wild, and for those who are interested in these books, make sure that the quickest, easiest way to tell is the size of the book. The 70s reprints were closer to
comic book size.
Yeah, to a modern comic size, whereas these are a larger, like a wider.
True golden age. That's what we would call golden age format book there.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at War of the Worlds here. It's issue number 124, and I think Classics Illustrated went through just under 200 issues, and this is 1954. The final issue is 169. What is that called?
So Indie Key Comics is asking, and others are
Negro
asking.
Americans is the final issue.
Great Americans?
Negro Americans.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's biographies of influential Black Americans from the colonial era: Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, Harriet Tubman, Crispus Attucks, and Dr. Daniel Hale.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But like Uncle Tom's Cabin is number 15. Key Collector has it as the most valuable one because of its reference in the Seduction of the Innocent Trials. It's like an $850 book. You got Mysteries is $350. Great Expectations. A lot of violence in that one. That's an $800 book, roughly. Mysteries of Paris, $700. 49 had Alice in Wonderland adaptation in it. That's about a $300 book. I mean, there is a niche audience that really wants these if they're in good shape, right? And they tend to have money, but they're not everywhere like your Spider-Man collectors are, but they do. Yeah. They're out there. So
I think they're nice books to have. I definitely enjoy. Anything that celebrates classic literature, I'm all about it, and I just love. I think he's talking raw values, El Green. I don't know if they get graded very much.
They're raw values. I've seen plenty of these graded, especially at comic conventions. I've seen these. What's interesting about these is you can find at yard sales because mostly people have no idea that they're actually comic books.
Yeah,
they think they're just magazines. So they don't think anything of them. I found a couple at yard sales mixed in with old books and magazines. It's worth looking for because there are a couple that are, if nothing else, they're great to have in your collection, even if they're not in tip-top shape,
Yeah.
Because they're 50s Golden Age books. And those are getting harder and harder to get a hold of, right?
Yeah, and they're fun books to own, and like Comic Tracks pointed out here, he said they're overlooked, but I think there's a lot of cool history to them. And then he says they're not particularly expensive, though. Maybe now's a good time to snag them. So yeah, so if you're looking for like a fun books to pick up that celebrate great literature and celebrate a bygone era in our culture, I think these are all great books, including the Dell.
The Dell ones are much better. They're better paper quality, better printing, and they usually hold up a little bit better. Classic Illustrated was made with terrible paper, and they're so fragile.
And then also remember, so Gold Key has been attempting to make a resurgence. I think it has. The company has a new owner.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you follow them on Instagram, you can see some of the books that they show off. And I found Gold Key books, like you said, at yard sales and like for all kinds of low prices.
There's a lot of very, very collectible, very valuable Golden Key books out there. So always keep an eye out for Golden Key.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, so I've got. Let's see, MT. Do you want me to go ahead and do my second and last?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. I've got a whole medium flat rate. I'm going to open it, and that's all I'm going to do.
Awesome. All right, guys. So hey, like I said, I have an entry for the MT's shipping Hall of Shame. However, this is not going to be shaming the seller. This is actually going to be celebrating the seller. So I came into the office, and imagine my horror when I found this is pretty close to what it looked like unopened. I found you, and you saw it on Instagram. But I found this on our secretary's desk.
Nice. Starting to look like it got wet too, because the cardboard.
Oh yeah, no. It was like the whole bottom half of it got dunked.
Yeah, I see that.
This whole section on down got dunked. I mean, this thing was rough. I have never found I've never had a package that was this destroyed and torn up. And it's crunchy because it has dried out. But so the packing around the comic package was this type of paper. This was damp. And as soon as the package was damp and moist, this was damp and moist. And I remember when I opened it, I thought, oh, this is, I thought this is for sure going to be a bad sign. Then I got the package out. The cardboard on each side of the bundle was damp as well. I don't know if you can tell it on that.
Oh yeah.
But fortunately the seller had, like, inside the package had used one of these post office bubble mailers and sealed it, and it kept out and the books were packaged properly. They were cross-hatched with each other and then bundled with what do you call it, plastic around it, and the backer boards on the inside of the package. So suffice it to say, the entire set of books that I'm going to show you were all in exactly the shape that they left the shipper's house in, because he had because he took the extra time and care to package the books well, and to make sure that there was a water resistant to make sure it was a water resistant package, which is something that I do with like the priority mailers, and well, really all of them. I take larger treasury sized or magazine sized or even CGC bags, and I wrap the bundle in that to kind of try to, and just in case there's moisture at play. And I know that's not as much of a common practice, but it's something that I've started doing just in case there's a situation like this one. So big shout out to Comics for Cheap on Instagram, comics with an X, COMIX 4, the number 4, and cheap on Instagram. He's at Comics for Cheap. Check him out. Tons and tons of books. Does sell them for decent prices. They're not always the highest grade books, but he obviously ships well because those books all survived the journey, and apparently, one postal worker's very bad day. So,
I had a package show up, and there was one on the top. It was in a priority envelope, and it was soaking wet because the guy left him out in the rain. I don't know if it was not my normal guy or whatever. And the whole envelope was falling apart. But luckily, what was inside was comic clears, so there was nothing to damage. So luckily, the comic clears saved all the packages underneath.
Wow.
But
Nice.
rain wreaks havoc on shipping, right, Kane?
Moisture is a collector's worst nightmare. So let me go through these books that I picked up from at Comics for Cheap. So I picked up, me, I've been chasing after DC books. So this is the Atom Special #1. Really cool book. Looking forward to breaking that open and reading that story. If you've watched the Booster Gold book or Booster Gold video, you know that Justice League #4 from the Giffen, DeMatteis, and McGuire run is on my list of Booster Gold books. This is when Booster Gold finds himself the lone standing brand new member of the Justice League, trying to defend the rest as they've fallen. And when he officially joins the Justice League of America, or Justice League at that time, it wasn't called Justice League of America. All right, this is a book I've been keeping an eye out for, and this is Justice League of America Annual #2. Special points awarded if anybody can tell me whose first appearances these are. Anybody at all? Make sure and drop it in. But they are on the cover. First appearance for a couple of characters. He is wearing that bandana. All right, if you think of it, make sure and drop it in there. Let me know. Zatanna. No, it's not Zatanna. Zatanna was in Hawkman #4 from the Silver Age. But actually, yeah, I'll go and tell you. So it's here on the cover. Gypsy is in the back there. Steel is between her and Vibe. Vibe is played by Vibe was Cisco Ramon, I think it was his name on the Flash series. But this is his first appearance right here. So I picked that up for a great deal. Also some different random books. I'm a big fan of the Iron Man Silver Centurion armor. So that time period, this is Iron Man #201. Pick that up. Surprisingly, a very low price copy of Wildcats #1. You know me, I'm a Jim Lee fan. I found listed in this was an entire, like it was kind of a broken run of Flash books, and so I went ahead and picked these up as well. There are some sequential issues mixed in here. I did not put them in order before. So 285. Okay. All right. So this is all a bunch of Flash books here for a very inexpensive price. Not in the greatest shape, but so this is right in that sweet spot of kind of Bronze Copper Age books. So this is, and they're all newsstands. So this is the Flash #269. The Flash #272, the Flash #273, the Flash #288. There's some really culture books here. For me, the Flash #279, the Flash #280. The Flash #285, the Flash #290, and then the Flash #299. Vibe was part of the Vibe and Gypsy were part of the Detroit version of the Justice League, and not as popular, but they've popped up before. Okay, so this is Iron Man number 203, also part of the Silver Centurion era of Iron Man. Here's somebody that everybody's getting real familiar with. Iron Man number 205 going up against MODOK.
Yeah, that's a great MODOK cover.
It is.
MODOK.
One. This is a nostalgia book for me because I had this comic as a kid, and I remember this cover very, very well. Iron Man number 206. I just love the question it's posting that Hawkeye and Mockingbird are in big trouble, so why is Iron Man flying away? They're going up against Goliath. So, really cool.
He's like that, Iron Man. Flighty.
All right, so those are my books for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to MT because I know he has no shortage of books to share. So, MT, what else you got for us?
These are a bunch of books that I picked up from my good buddy Discovery Bay. They are like going to be your classic pull box hodgepodge of everything, so it'd be kind of cool to go through and see what some of these are. First one there, and like when I saw what he was asking for this, I'm like, absolutely. But now I understand why he wasn't asking for a ton, because it's missing chips out of it and whatnot. But this was an extremely popular Steranko cover with a very famous image of Contessa Valentina LaFontaine, which is Nick Fury's love interest. And Steranko brought this psychedelic pop art to comic books. Steranko introduced that in Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just not too long ago, they had a Deadpool variant cover of this a couple years ago. It was really popular variant, but who is Scorpio? It's just an awesome, awesome cover in any grade. It's Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1, but a very, very famous image of Contessa on there. Great Star Wars issue, right? The Empire Strikes Back issue with our favorite C-3PO in the famous cover swipe that we've talked about many times on the channel with the Infinite Crisis. It's also in Thor of Hulk cradling the character with the knees bent. We've talked about many times. Here's a book I'm always picking up. First appearance of the second Captain Britain, Union Jack. Invaders. Love me some Invaders. This is the Teutonic Knight issue. First Teutonic Knight, I believe, is this one. Yep. And this is one of the all-time great Invaders covers, and it does have a little chip in the corner, but for the price, I can't complain. This is the old Frankenstein Pip Slap. Monsters Unleashed meets the Invaders with old Frankenstein wearing his Nazi uniform. Awesome, awesome book. This is one of the bigger keys in the Invaders with the Thor battle cover with Namor, where Thor lays the smack down. This is I think right after they con Thor into fighting for the Axis powers for an issue or two. This is the first appearance of third Captain Universe, which is the first female iteration of Captain Universe. Captain Universe is a mantle that's been thrown around to a lot of different characters, but started with Vance Astro from the original Guardians of the Galaxy team. any of the old Star Wars comics that have Darth Vader on the cover are always worth picking up. And then you get the Millennium Falcon. That can't beat the Millennium Falcon, right? An iconic spacecraft, the YT-7 freighter, I believe. Skull the Slayer is one of these books I love. I've got a graded copy of issue number 1. This came out of kind of like the Conan type book, Lumeria, but this has a crossover with the original Black Knight from Marvel Comics, old Buckethead himself, when Black Knight was a villain. Great book. I will also, I'm going to shout out Dapper Dan, my man Dapper Dan, the best hair in the business, hooked me up with the first 3 issues of Eternals. Now, these have taken a dip. They will come back. He gave me these at a great price, and these are super high-grade copies. So, Jack Kirby goodness here. Eternals number 1, number 2, and number 3 I got from the Coiffed King himself, Dapper Dan. Great books to get right now because they are certainly at a dip, but they've always been popular. So, playing off that, here's an Eternals I got out of this, 14 with the Hulk crossover. Micronauts was just a cool read. I used to love these stories. There's still a lot of rumors we're going to see some characters out of the Micronauts series in the new Quantum Mania story, because basically where Quantum Mania is set is essentially the Micronauts, the Microverse, is essentially where they're going. The Quantum realm is the Microverse. So then there's the characters. Bug there, the green guy, he was on the first Guardians of the Galaxy team with Peter Quill, the one that's in the movie, that iteration, with Star-Lord and Groot and Rocket. And then you've got Gundam style there, right? Then we got Uncanny X-Men Annual 7. Can't go wrong with an annual, which this guy, Presto Changeo guy, reminded me from Hanna-Barbera comics, was it? Presto Changeo. Mark Hamill voiced his parody for some time. This is Dreadstar. I've never heard of Dreadstar. I saw this. I'm like, my God, there's got to be a Dreadstar comic out there because I like to collect obscure comic titles. I'm yet to chase this one down. This has inspired me to look and see if they have one. Can't go wrong with Avengers. Can't go wrong with Avengers. Red Sonja from the 70s. This Atlantis Attacks crossover was through all the annuals in that year. If you can collect them all, it's a great read. The Atlantis Attacks crossover story was a great epic. Deals with the Serpent Crown. Great story. Is that still in the polybag? Oh, that's not a polybag. Square-bound annual Daredevil. I've got quite a run of Daredevil going on here. Probably going to sell the whole thing. Probably got 60 issues now or so. I am not a big Daredevil fan. Other than I do appreciate the fact that the artwork in the Daredevil comics changed the way action was depicted in comic books. So here's 127, the Mogul. And that was one I just sold a nice high-grade copy of that to Mr. Jackal here recently. More Defenders with the Squadron Sinister crossover, Hyperion. This was a controversial Defenders issue where you've got Valkyrie being crucified like Peter, the Apostle Peter, got crucified upside down. So it was kind of a little passe there, but you do have Son of Satan on the cover, so guess how much worse can you be? Great issue. I love this cover. 50th issue of the Defenders. The colors pop in this. Valkyrie's outfit is banging in this one. Look at those boots and the bare shoulder outfit. Great cover. Awesome book. Back into the Eternals, Jack Kirby goodness. Jack Kirby goodness. What cover is this homaging? Carlos Collects Comics. Oh, he bailed. Anybody in the what's the Aluminum Falcon? See if anybody can tell me what cover homage this is to. A very famous comic. Very famous comic. Avengers. This is the Resurrection Stone saga with Wonder Man. Annihilus is another great character I love. I love Annihilus covers. I will always buy them when I see them. I loved Annihilus from Annihilation Wave. That's where I really got to know and to really like him as a character. Here is a really awesome cover. I love this cover. Fantastic Four, part of the Infinity War crossover. Susan Richards is dead. Long live Malice. This is when Susan Richards has her evil phase, like the Dark Phoenix. She had to have her own little jaunt into the evil universe. Really super sweet cover. Doom covers. Battles the Beyonder in his 1980s Florida suit. And Molecule Man. And if anybody has read the Secret Wars, the modern Secret Wars with God Emperor Doom, Molecule Man plays heavy in that. And Stan Lee always talked about Molecule Man. It was a character that they created that was way overpowered. Like he can control molecules. So basically he can reorder reality. And they're like, well, what can we do with this guy? You know, he's hanging out there. He basically is like uber powerful. So it was interesting to see how they wove him back into the Marvel Universe and made him defeatable, you know, so people could contend with him. I'm glad to see Man-Thing's coming back into style. I've always liked Man-Thing far more than I liked Swamp Thing. Some low-grade Man-Thing titles from... and I always liked how they changed the title. The most startling slime creature of all. The most startling swamp creature of all in this one. This is a great run. Marvel premiere introduced a lot of new characters and storylines. This is one who did not take off. The Torpedo was very short-lived. He's got this in like 4mm Mylar. Creatures on the Loose, Thongor, the Warrior of Lost Lumeria. This is also from Conan and Kull the Conqueror. First time in a comic book. So first appearance of Thongor, Warrior of Lost Lumeria. I have a couple copies of this set. Great book to pick up. Great story if you're into sandal and sorcery. So, sand and sandals. Sword and sandal. Sword and sandal. There you go. Sword and sandal. I don't know much about these Dark Horse, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron. I just know they were super popular last year, and if I can pick them up cheap, I will. Not sure why I picked up a modern Virgin variant, but it is Captain America, which I'm a fan of, so yeah, maybe I bought it. Don't remember picking that one up, but so be it. Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith. This is another one that seemed to be pretty popular, so if I can get them cheap, I'm buying them. Action Comics #1, absolutely correct. Action Comics #1. The old Jade Giantess herself. I think that this is the most BA Darth Vader cover ever printed. I have a couple copies now. It is my all-time favorite Darth Vader cover. He looks just so awesome with his shield, his Galactic Empire icon shield, and his lightsaber. Very Teutonic Knight looking. Just an awesome, awesome cover. He is looking mighty dangerous. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. Here's another book I've been snapping up. Because they are retelling, bringing this back in. This is the issue #6 with the end of the world scenario with the Marvel zombies and Mjolnir with the Infinity Gauntlet stones, the Infinity Stones, and apparently there's one black stone that they are reweaving into the story here. So I got 2 copies of that. So I've been stocking up on copies of that. Another one of my all-time favorites, hard to go wrong here. Hard to go wrong with first appearance of Angela from the Spawn comics, who's now in Marvel Comics, right? Looks like you put a clear back on this one. Super high grade copy. Super high grade copy. Thank you there, Discovery. Old JB. Inferno was a great storyline. They rebooted Inferno in the mid 2000s. It has to do with magic. It had to do with Dark Phoenix. Had to do with magic, and the Hell Spawns, right? Inferno. I don't know who that is in the. Is that Havoc? Sinister Triumphant. It says in this one. So Mr. Sinister's in this one. And Phalanx. If you can get the first appearance of Phalanx, you need to pick it up. Phalanx was the big bad that started the Annihilation Wave, which is one of the best stories, one of the best galactic Marvel stories ever told. In fact, it ran for 3 different big arcing stories. You had Annihilation, Annihilation Conquest. I think they rebooted Annihilation again here a couple years ago, but it is an incredible story to read. This is the first Phalanx story, and they are like a techno-organic species that tied into how Apocalypse was able to convert Angel into Archangel was through the techno-organic virus. Cable, his arm, is the techno-organic virus controlled. It was also what they showed on Tony Stark's neck in the movie, which they kind of like screwed that up. But anyways, that's what they were trying to show there. At any rate, that's what I've got done. That's all I've got for you this week, guys. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate the comments. Oh, they did another Inferno recently. Oh, great, Tony Stink. I remember they rebooted Inferno with a really sexy cover of Magic, where she was in her half demon form, and they like promoted the heck out of it. They had posters and images everywhere of that book, and that was like the mid 2000s, 2008 maybe. Infinity Hammer says Sticks Boy 73. Thanks for being with us, Sticks. I haven't seen you comment yet. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, I think looks like Carlos has come back to us. I'm gonna turn it over to him. We're gonna shut down the show here. Bring it home for us, Carlos. Bring it home.
All right, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that. I had my laptop. I hadn't plugged it in. It died. But I'm back here. Hey, thanks so much for all you guys that are guys and gals that are tuning in with us tonight and hanging out. We always enjoy Monday Hauls, where we get to share the books that we've been picking up. And MT is always a wealth of knowledge and more than willing and happy to share it with us. I hope you enjoyed this and that you got some cool books to put on your list, on your radar, and keep an eye out for. Just a couple quick reminders about things we've got going on here on the channel. The giveaway show is coming up on Wednesday night. We are going to be doing that to lead up to the top 10 Daredevil video that's going to be dropping on Friday. But then also at the end of February, on February the 24th, I'm going to be doing a creator interview with David Pepose. David is the writer of Savage Avengers, the OZ, Going to the Chapel, Spencer and Locke, and my personal favorite, Scout's Honor. So I'm looking forward to having him here. I'm going to be interviewing him on Friday, February 24th at 11 a.m. Central. So it is going to be earlier, and I think most of these creator interviews will be during the day on Fridays. So looking forward to having him with us for that time. Otherwise, it's been a great night to hang out with you. And I'm going to go ahead and remind you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure and do so, because it is continuing to grow, and we are continuing to get new people and drop a lot of new videos. So keep an eye out for those. And by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, you'll be kept up to date on all the cool videos that we've gotten every time we do live streams. So thanks again for being here tonight. We are glad to have been able to share with you, and we will see you next week. So for me and MT and Michael Breslis and the rest of the guys, it's been fun, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
You can come back and see you on Wednesday, right, for the giveaway show with Paul.
Yep, Paul will be back with this one with the Heavy Allowed on for the night. So y'all make sure and plug in with me and him and Mr. Collector, and we'll see who else drops in. See ya.